Today, I want to talk about the responses we get from grantors, hearing yes, hearing no, and other responses that we might hear as well, and help think through like, hey, how can we hear yes more? How can we make sure we're hearing more yeses than nos, and when we're hearing nos, actually turn it around into a yes for the future? I'm Amanda Roberts with Capacity Building Consulting, and I teach nonprofits how to get more funding so that they can fulfill their mission. So, hearing no can be such a scary thing. When we're pressing submit, we get all nervous that the funder is going to come back and say, actually, you just wasted all of your time and energy on this grant application that we're not going to fund. We don't want to hear that. We're afraid of that. We brace ourselves for that. But before we can really hear yes, we have to understand what these funder responses mean. So what do grantors' responses really mean? There are three different responses. One is no forever. And this one's a little bit more rare, but it means, when it's no forever, that means no for now, but also, you're not a good fit for us. So that means we don't align with the funder's mission, or we don't meet their requirements. And so like we're just not going to get funding from them unless they have, 10 years down the line, a dramatic shift in what their foundation is trying to do. So no forever. And today we're talking a lot about more foundations. So like community foundations, family foundations, but some of these principles are also applicable for those government grants and other types of grants like challenge grants that are a little bit different but carry some of the same principles. So no forever is rare because really we shouldn't ever be applying to those opportunities in the first place. So if you hear a no forever, that means you didn't really do enough research to understand whether you were a good fit for the funder or not. There's also the no for now. And that means maybe in the future we will fund you. You could reapply again next year, but right now we're just not going to fund you. And when you get a no for now, there can be a variety of reasons why you received that response. Maybe your proposal wasn't compelling enough. Maybe your finances aren't in good enough shape right now, so they're not ready to fund you right now. Maybe what you presented to them is not really something that they want to fund. So maybe you didn't position yourself well enough, or position your program or your organization well enough to make it interesting and compelling for the funder. No for now might also mean that you don't meet their requirements yet. So maybe in the future you might meet their requirements, but right now you don't meet their requirements. And when we get a no for now, it's of course disheartening, but it's also encouraging because there are things we could do to improve our application to fit their mission better, or not really fit their mission better, but fit their priorities better, position our organization a little bit better for them, or fix some of our financial things to make sure we're really a good fit with them. Now, how do we tell the difference between a no forever and a no for now? That really comes down to those relationships, the relationships you have with a funder. So being able to call them up and ask, like, is this something like, are we just not a good fit for you? Or is there a way, is there a different pitch we could give you to where that would be more compelling for you in the future? So there's no forever, no for now, and then of course there's yes. But without understanding what a yes means, it's going to be hard to get there. So what a yes means is, yes, we trust you with our money. We think your organization is a good investment. It's really about meeting their mission. Here's what the funder is trying to do in the world, and you are a piece of that. When you hear a yes, that means they trust you with the money, and you are helping them fulfill their mission in the world. And often we think of it the other way around, like a funder can help us fulfill our mission. And that's really important when we're researching funding opportunities and saying, will this funding opportunity help us fulfill our mission or not? Because if not, then let's not go after it. But we often forget that funders have their own missions, and by applying and getting funding from them, we are helping them fulfill their mission in the world. So when we hear yes, it's because they trust us, it's because we're helping them fulfill their mission, and it's because we are what they want to fund right now. So how do we get to that yes? Well, I have a suggestion that may be a little bit counterintuitive, but instead of focusing so much on our grant applications, in order to hear a yes, spend less time writing, less time reworking our application, and actually spend more time researching the funder. So a lot of times when we find a funding opportunity, what we do is we get on their website maybe for like 30 seconds, kind of click around, and then we create an online application, login, username and password, and we start going and we start typing. But instead, what if we really went through their website, got on the phone with them, did a deep dive into what they care about, what their requirements are, who are these people, who are they as people, what language do they use, what do they recommend? And one of the examples I like to use, I recently did a training on 8 different ways nonprofits can approach grants, like younger generations approach online dating. And the biggest takeaway that I asked all of the participants, what is their biggest takeaway from the day? One of the most common responses was about this idea of creeping. So if you or anyone you know is into online dating, or even just online in general, using different social media channels, we all have this like skill we've developed as a society, and particularly learning from younger generations. I know I've learned a lot from my younger sister, who's taught me how to creep appropriately. But we can find out so much information about a person only having their name. We can find out what food they like to eat. And when it comes to online dating, some of the things we like to find out is when their last relationship was, how long their last relationship was. There are all these things we can find out online. And whoever's online dating, and those of us who are just helping people, in their online dating adventures, we really engage in this type of like, okay, whose posts do they like? And well, until recently on Instagram, how often do they comment on other people's Instagram, so that when they comment on yours, like, is it special, or do they comment on everyone's? We have all these skills that we use to research people when it's something as fun or exciting or daunting as online dating. But then when it comes to funders, we don't do any research. We don't look at their 990 forms and see, okay, who else have they funded? How much have they funded those people? We don't look on their website and really dig through and say, okay, what language keeps popping up? What does it seem like they value the most? What is their mission statement? The thing is, we can find out so much information about funders online, whether that's on, our databases, or even on their 990 forms, or on their websites if they have one. There's so much information we can find out online, but we are not doing that. So if you are looking to hear yes more, and stop hearing no, or stop hearing no for now, rather than focusing so much on your application, focus more on the research, on really understanding what this funder cares about and what their mission is, so you can prove in your application how you align with that. And I'm going to be doing a video a little bit later on how we can make our application stand out. But unless we understand what the funder truly cares about, we're not going to be able to do that. So just to recap a little bit, a no can be a no forever, meaning you really shouldn't have applied in the first place, probably, because you're not aligned with their mission or you don't meet their requirements. A no could also mean no for now, meaning you need a more compelling application, you need better financials, you need to position your organization better, different things like that. Or we could hear yes, which yes means, hey, we trust you with our money, and you are helping us fulfill our mission in the world. You are helping us accomplish what we are trying to accomplish. And to hear that yes, we've really got to focus on, okay, what is it that they're trying to accomplish? What is it that's going to make this funder trust us more? And doing our research, taking that idea of creeping, researching these people online in like an online dating sense, taking that idea of creeping and really putting it into researching grantors. We can find out so much information about them, even if they don't have a website, on the internet. So why are we not leveraging that to hear yeses more? Now, I'm going to be having a follow-up discussion in my free Facebook group, the Successful Grant Writers, and I'm going to put a link to that in the bio of this video. But I encourage you to think about, okay, as we're approaching next year, even looking back at all of the no's you've received this year, how are we going to focus on getting yes more? How are we going to hear yes more? And I think a lot of the answer is spending less time writing and more time doing that research.